Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's Daf Hayomi Maseches Zevachim Daf Tzadi Tes. We begin right on top. Menanimili. How do we know? What is the source for the halacha in the Mishnah that a kohen who is not able to do the avodah, is not avodah enabled when that korban is actually processed, when the zrika takes place, if he's not available for avodah, then he's not entitled to get a chelek, to get a portion of that korban when it is divided amongst the kohanim. He can join as a guest, but he's not entitled to an actual portion of the korban. Minahanamili, how do we know this is so? Omner Shlakish, Damakra, the Pasuk says, Hakayin amachate oisay yechlana. Only the kohen who is mechate, who applies the blood on the mizbeach, who does the akrava, right? Only he is oichel. He can consume the korban. Now, if we take it literally at face value, it sounds like the kohen is handed, the korban is only handed for consumption to the actual individual who processed the korban. HaKohen hamachate oisay yechlana. And we learn, the kohen that's hamachate oichel, he can consume the korban. However, she'enai mechate, the kohen who's not actually engaged, involved in processing the korban, eina oichel, he does not eat. So first of all, uklalahu, is this really a true rule? Is that true? How many kohanim are actually involved in in any individual korban? Very few. But we have many kohanim around. The mishmar, the beis av, right? The whole week's rotation, the daily, group. Many kohanim in different roles. Not everybody is taking care of every korban. But a mishmar kul, you have the whole mishmar, the whole group of kohanim that are really around and supporting the hakrava, and each one in his own way. They ain't mechatin, although they're not actually doing the akrava, and they have no problem eating. V'oichlin, they can eat. Right? We divide the korban amongst all the kohanim. It's a known fact, right? So how does that work? If you don't work, you don't eat, right? Says the Gemara, no, actually, roi l'chita kamrina. We didn't mean. The pasuk doesn't mean to say that only the kohen who's actually engaged in the hakrav of this specific korban gets to take gets to eat. It means that a kohen who is there and available, roi l'chita kamrina. That's what we meant. Ask the Gemara, hari katan de'ena roi l'chita v'oichel. But hold it. The formula doesn't really hold up yet, because a katan, for instance, a minor, below bar mitzvah, he can't do the akrava. He's not roy l'chit. He's not available for work. And we all know that even a katan can have a kachim. Kol zachar yachaloy. Any kind can even katanim, right? Rashi says even katanim. So again, this doesn't really work. He's not roy l'chit, and he can eat. Oh. So apparently, when the pasuk says only one who is able to work will eat, it doesn't mean literally eating. Ella, rather, ma yechlena. What does the pasuk mean when it says yechlena? Yichal kena. He gets a portion. He takes part in the chalukah of the korban. Okay, this works. This works out with all the scenarios. Roy l'chitoi choylek, shein roy l'chitoi einei choylek. A kohen who's able to do the avodah is available. He's toher. He's not, an oinein. He hadn't experienced a family tragedy on that day. He's a gadol. He can do the avodah. When it comes time to divide the korban, he gets a portion. Shein roy l'chitoi einei choylek. But if he's not working able, then he doesn't have he's not entitled to a chelek. Okay, so let's say the other members of the mishmar, of course, they can take a chelek. But a katan, he can eat as his father's guest, but he can't He's not entitled to his own portion because he's not roy lechit. A tamei, not entitled to a chelik because he's not roy lechit. Ask the Gemara, but how does this work with a Baal Mum? We know that a Baal Mum, a kohen with a blemish, although he can't actually do the avodah, but he gets a chelik. Hare Baal Mum de'inu roy lechit, and still v'chelik. How does that work? Baal Mum rachman rabbi. We have a special pasuk to include him. Kol zachar v'kahanim. The rabbis that covers even a Baal Mum. Now, if Kol Zachar is coming to include something extra, who says a Baal Mum maybe cover the Tvul Yaim discussed in the Mishnah? Perhaps the words Kol Zachar l'Rabbi is Tvul Yaim give him the privilege. So, it's a toss-up between Baal Mum and Tvul Yaim. Who says to include Baal Mum and exclude the Tvul Yaim? Perhaps include the Tvul Yaim, give him a chelik, which he'll eat tonight, when, after Herav Shemesh, when he's ready and available to eat, and exclude the Baal Mum? No, Mistavra, Baal Mum Havli. It's more probable that the Torah will include a Baal Mum Shekin Eichel. Unlike the Tvul Yaim, who's currently somewhat tamei, you can't even eat today. So he's sort of a step away. Versus the Baal Mum, who's a step closer, because he can eat karbanis even when he's a Baal Mum. So he has that, he relates to the karbanis at all times. So it's more logical that if we'll include him and give him an actual portion. Adrabah. Well, if anything, Tvul Yaim, I prefer the Tvul Yaim, because as soon as nighttime comes, he's ready to do avodah. So he's even a step closer, as opposed to the Baal Mum who can't do avodah even tonight. So maybe include the Tvul Yaim better than the Baal Mum. Well, but currently speaking, at this moment, he's not really able to do avodah, so he doesn't have that advantage. Okay, so what's the source? It says Rish Lakish, HaKoyin HaMachata Isha Ichlena. We learn, if you're ready and available to do avodah, you get a chilek. Rav Yosef Amar Michti. Let me explain to you why we include the Baal Mum and not the Tvul Yaim. Let's take a close look at the pasuk again. Kol Zachar HaKoyin HaMachata Isha Ichlena. Michti. Now let's think. According to us, ma yichlena, what yichlena mean? Doesn't mean literally eat, because even a katan who can't work eat, it means yichal kena, entitled to a chilek. So why doesn't the Torah just say it outright? Luchtav rachman yichal kena. It should say the kohen who's available is entitled to a portion. Ma yichlena. Why this choice of words? Why use yichlena instead of yichal kena? Shema. The Torah is sending another message that the determining criterion is Ro'i la'achila, chelik. You have to be Ro'i la'achila. And only he gets chalukah. She'en Ro'i la'achila, ain't a chelik. But otherwise, if you're not Ro'i la'achila, like a Tvul Yaim, you don't get a chelik. So this knocks out the Tvul Yaim. Okay, so in summation, who's entitled to a chelik to get a part of the carbon? All the Bnei HaMishmar, because they qualify as Ro'i L'chitui, the Ro'i for Hakrava, to do the Avodah, as opposed to a Talmud like a Baal Mum. But we do include like a Tvul Yaim, but we do include the Baal Mum based on the pasuk called Zachar B'Kehanim. According to Rav Yosef, there's an added twist, choice of words in the pasuk. Instead of saying Yichal Kena, because that's what we're speaking about, getting a portion, it says Yichlena to tell you that the Tvul Yaim is not included because he's not Ro'i La'achila. Boy Rish Lakish. Now comes an interesting question. So we included the Baal Mum, okay? Despite him not being able to do avodah, he's entitled to a chelik. What if the Baal Mum happens to also be tamei? So shall we say, look, the fact is, we covered the Baal Mum. We covered him as well. We included him, right? Despite his not being able to do the avodah, so perhaps he gets a free pass. He gets a green light, irrespective of his tumah status. Because in any case, he doesn't follow the standard, guidelines. He's not roila avodah, and still he gets so. Just because he's tamei doesn't make it worse. Or you can say, the primary factor is Rav Yosef's factor. The pasuk says Yichlenu, only one who's roila achila. So a regular Baal Mum he's covered because he's roy lachila, but not if he's tamei. That's a question, right? But Rish Lakish, ba'mumvu tamei mao shechalkolei. Ba'mumvu happens to be tamei as well. Does he receive a portion or not? On the one hand, kivan the leichazi. Well, look, he's not really working able, and still, Barachman Rabbi in Torah incorporates him, includes him. Perhaps in all states, lo yishna, mali balmum, mali balmum v'tamei. What difference is it whether he's just a balmum or also tamei? On the other hand, you can say, no, tumah certainly changes the equation drastically, because when he's tamei, he can't even eat. Roy la'achila, only one who's able to eat the carbon chaylik, he gets a portion. She'en roy la'achila ein chaylik, but not if he's tamei. Amarabba toshmal, let me prove to you that the answer is no. Kohen gadol makriv einin, in contrast to a regular kohen who can't serve in the mikdash when he's an einin, when a close family relative passed away. Right? A kohen gadol could. He would makriv even when he's an einin, on the day of the, but he cannot partake in the actual carbon. Nor can he actually take a part for tonight. So he can't eat and he can't take a chelik. What do we see from here? We see that despite him being able to do avodah, but in terms of receiving a portion, the answer is no. Shmamina, we learn from here, roy lachila bein shmamina, we need an individual who is able to eat. So the answer is a balmum who's a tamei cannot get a chelik. But Rav Ashi, here comes a similar question, pretty much on the same equation. We have a tamei b'karbonis tzibur ma'u. Sheichal. It's a carbon tzibur, and most of the tzibur public is tamei, which allows us to bring the carbon in a tumah state. So it happens to be that the kohen who brought it was tar, so the carbon technically is edible because it was brought as a proper, tar carbon. But theoretically, a kohen who is tamei can still bring this carbon. Usually you can't, but when the tzibur is tamei, that allows us to bring the carbon betumah. So technically he's a ro'i lechita, he's able to do the avodah. But he can't really eat the carbon at this point because he's tamei. So it's a similar question to the previous one. So we have a ro'i la'avodah, but not ro'i la'achila. Tamei b'karbonos tzibur. What's the status regarding receiving a chelik? The Torah presents the determinant factor as a mechate. Roy lechite. Well, he also qualifies. V'hainami, this kohen as well today is a mechate. He's able to do the avodah. We shouldn't say no. Primary factor to deal with is roy lachila. Only he is chelik, as opposed to the kohen who's tamei. Shein roy lachila, ain't a chelik. It's not roy lachila. You shouldn't get a chelik. Ravina tashma, the same raya from the kohen gadol who's an einin. Hakrava, yes, but achila and chelik in the carbon not. Apparently, you have to be roy lachila to qualify for a chelik. Tashma kohen gadol makriv einin, right? Ve'ino eichel, ve'ino chelik, leichel erev shma. We learn from here that in fact roy lachila be'ino shma mino, and the answer is no. Okay, the Mishnah spoke about an einin. Close family member passed away. Although he can touch the karbonis, he's not tamei, but he can't do the akrab. Ask the Gemara, really? He can touch a carbon, he's not considered tamei, but Ramini we have a kasha. There's a Mishnah Chagiga. Ramini. Mishnah says oinen u'mechusak yipurim, an oinen or a fellow who still has to bring a carbon for kapara, so his process is not yet complete. He's considered somewhat impure. Tzrichin tefillah l'kodesh. So there we're speaking about midrabanan. There's a chumrah. We have to immerse him in a mikveh in order to interact with the karbonis. Sounds like even just to touch a carbon, he would have to be toivel. And here we say he's free to touch. Amar Rav Ami, Rav Yechon lekasha. Here's an answer. Kam b'shetovel. Our Mishnah, which allows touching, is after he immersed in the mikveh. He's done. Kam b'shetovel. The Mishnah there is speaking before tefillah. Ask the Gemara, what good is being toivel if you're still in your day of aninas? It just jumped back right on. Just because he was toivel today, what good does it do? Just jumps right back on him. He's like being toivel, with the sherets in his hand. If he's an einin today throughout the day until day's up, so he can immerse 100 times, but as soon as he comes out of the mikvah, he's back in einin. Damar Rabba, Ba'arafuna. Einin who was toivel in a mikvah doesn't help him for today. Aninusa, his status of aninus, chazer salaf returns right back to him. Okay, so that doesn't work. And says the Gemara, Ella, back to the resolution between our Mishnah, which says an Einen can touch, and the Mishnah in Chagiga, which says he can't. The answer is like this. Over there we're speaking that he was not cognizant to protect himself from impurities. Okay, so there's a real concern that he was tamei, keep away from karbanis. As opposed to the fellow in our Mishnah who was fully cognizant, focused to protect himself from tumah. So there's no issue. Ask the Gemara, Hesach Hadas. So over there was Hesach Hadas. Why is Tefillah enough? Tefillah wouldn't address if he touched a mace, and maybe if he wasn't paying attention, he touched a mace. He needs the paraduma waters on the third and the seventh day, etc. Hesach Hadas, Shlishi Shviboy. He requires a full, extensive paraduma process. Amar Yistoi, Rabbi Most, Amar B'Yechon, Hesach Hadas, V'Koin is Mesech Das. Tzarech Hazor Shlishi Shvi. We deem him as being Tamei Mace. Tefillah is not enough. The answer is like this. He was somewhat partially cognizant of his status. He ensured that he didn't touch, severe tummies, but lighter ones maybe. So we treat him as somewhat a mid-level tummy. Leikash answer is Hadas Hachadaitim Tmei Mace. He was totally unaware, which presents a risk, a chance that he may have touched the mace. Then he's in hot water. Hadas Hachadaitim Tmei Sheretz. But we're talking that he was Mesech Das, that he may have touched the sheretz, which is not, the highest form of tumah. Well, still, says the Gemara, even for that, if you touch the sheretz, he gets tummy today until tonight. Tefillah doesn't help you until the day's up. Tummy sheretz, that's a real tumah. Tummy malyu, it's a high level tumah. Head of shemesh boy, has to wait until the day's up. So, the Mishnah there speaks about being toivel. That's not really enough. Says the Gemara of Oid, furthermore, Filu Truma Nami, if he was Mesiach Das, then he's in trouble for Truma as well. The Mishnah here says it's a strictly kachim, carbon, stringency. Amar Riyamya. So he explains further. He was in a protected state regarding most tumais. V'aymer, he says like this, Nishmarti medavar matam eini. I was very careful not to engage in anything that would render me biblically impure. Midaraisa. I didn't touch a lizard, I didn't touch a mace, certainly. But I wasn't careful about, very light tumas. Rashi calls it midarabon, things that would have disqualified me from touching, interacting with carbon, midarabon. So those lighter tumas, I wasn't careful, and that's the only concern. Then he just jumps into the mikvah and he's done with that. Really? You can have a split cognizance? There's a partial guarding, really? Does that work? Yeah. Vatani, we have a similar halacha. A fellow was traveling around with this basket of figs sitting on his head. In it there's a little rake, they used to collect these figs. And he says, look, I was paying attention to protect make sure nothing problematic comes into contact with the basket, but the shovel inside, I'm not sure. Vamar, he says, Libi, my heart, my focus, ala sal, related to the basket. I know that's, safe. Vein libi ala magref, I'm not sure about the tool. What's the halacha? Sal is tahar, because he guarded it from tumah, magref atmei, and the tool is tamei. So before we conclude this discussion, let's just try to understand. Hold it. If the tool is tamei and sitting in the basket, so everything is tamei, because it conveys its tumah to the rest. Let the magrefa infect the sal. If the magrefa is tummy, then the sal can't be tar. And kli matame kli, a kli cannot transmit tumah to another kli, unless talking about a very high level tumah, which we don't have in this case. The tamei mashe, okay, it can't be matame the actual basket without the figs that it's sitting on. Amarava. Okay, this is the point that we're looking for. Baimer, he's declaring to us shmartia medavar matama. Even regarding the magref, I made sure that it did not engage in severe tumors, like a rishain, like a real high level tumor, which would be matame the figs. Right, so I made sure I didn't get to that point, but I wasn't careful. to protect it from engaging in an item which would make it puzzle. Davar apoisla. Right? Which would be like a sheni l'tuma, which makes it a shlishi, that's it. It doesn't transmit it further. So I made sure it didn't get infected with a high level tuma, which would allow it to be transmitted to the surroundings. At most, it would have touched something which disqualified it from further use in truma and whatever, but not to transmit it further. Okay, so that would be the answer for us as well. This einin, who suffices with a quick tvila, is a fellow who knows he was careful from all serious tumas, but not something which may have disqualified him in a lighter way, which is only the Rabbana, for which tvila is a solution. Okay, so again we have this question, this apparent contradiction. By us in Zevachim we say an einin can touch karbonis, in Chagiga we say he needs tvila, according to this teretz. By us he was fully careful, in Chagiga he was only partially careful, therefore he requires a tvila. Igalgal Musa, so this discussion, this whole back and forth, this contradiction between the Mishnayos, rolled around, so to speak, and landed on Matay l'kamed Rabbi Abba bar Mambal to Rabbi bar Mambal, and he was presented with this question. He says, "Oh, you have a simple answer." Amar lahu, so he turned to the people. He says, "What's the question?" L'shmiya lahu hadar Rabbi Yechon. Haven't you heard what Rabbi Yechon told us? I'm a Rebbe, name of Rebbe. I have a simple answer to this whole question. He says like this. He quotes Rebbe, "Ha'oichel shlisha shel truma." A fellow ate food which is a shlishi. Okay, so let's say it's truma that became a shlishi l'tuma, which is a low-level tuma. There's av, there's rishon, there's shein, there's shlishi. The halacha is midrabanan, the eater gets the same status as the food that he's eating. He's treated like a shlishi, and therefore asal echel, he cannot eat truma, but umataliga, he can touch truma. So this stringency, which is a rabbinic stringency, to treat him like his food, almo, so we see from here, ba'achila over the Rabbanan Mala, it's limited to his eating. He cannot eat truma. But negila over the Rabbanan Mala. But the mala, this extra, stringency, the strictness, was not applied with respect to him touching truma. He can touch truma. So in any case, you see that sometimes exera de Rabbanan is limited to limiting his eating abilities, but not his touching, not his contact, not his interaction. So that's a simple answer to the question. Sure, a tvul yaim, the Rabbanan has to be toivel, it's treated like somewhat of a tamei, but again that only pertains to eating karbonis, but touching, nobody disallowed him from touching, as per the Mishnah Mayasim Maseches Zevachim. Okay, so we had a stira. Here it says an einin can touch. There it says he has to be toivel. So one answer was here he was very toivel. Another answer was here he was careful, that he wasn't so careful. And third answer is, well, the whole concept only pertains to eating. But regarding negia, there was never an isser for an einin to touch even karbonis. So he can't be makriv, and likewise, as a result, he's not entitled to a portion, even in order to eat it tonight, when the aninus, expires. Says the Gemara, okay, so he's not entitled to a personal portion, but he can piggyback onto somebody else and get invited to a meal tonight. Apparently, the night after is not considered aninus. The status of einin, aninus, right, only extends until the end of the day that his relative died, but doesn't go past that point. So the night after is okay. He can eat karbanis, something that he can't do throughout today when he's an einin, right? He's not entitled to a portion. Okay, that's one halacha. But if he's invited to the meal tonight, he can eat karbanis even tonight. Ramini, we have a kasha from a halacha in Maseches Pesachim. Ramini, there's a Mishnah Pesachim which says that no, even the night after, he's not allowed to eat karbanis. Only carbon pesach, not other karbanis. Ramini, oinein, right? Toivel, he immerses in a mikvah v'oichlas pischal erev. Tonight, Pesach at night, he can eat his carbon pesach. Avalei b'kashim, he can't eat other karbanis. And by Yasin Zvachim, we say he could. Amar B'yirmi, b'divlei kasha. Here's your answer. The state of einin has two parts, two phases. The day of the relative's death, he's an einin minat Torah, and he can't eat karbanis minat Torah. The night after is only midrabanan. Okay, So with the Rabbanon, he's treated like an oinen even the following night. But when it comes to Korban Pesach, which is a very strict, high-level obligation, in fact, if one neglects bringing a Korban Pesach, he's liable to curry. So the Rabbanon said, you know what, we'll suspend our din of aninus. We'll allow him to eat the Korban Pesach despite the fact that it's so short after it's still the night after. So that's the answer. The night after, can he eat a Korban? No, but Pesach yes. Like Kasha. Amar Vir Merdif like Kasha. Come Pesach. There it's about the Korban Pesach, so he has a green light for that. Come Shana. But the other Mishnah is speaking about throughout the year. So the night of Pesach is the topic of our Mishnah in Maseches Zevachim, so you can eat. The Mishnah in Pesachim, where it says Avaloi B'Kodshim, is speaking about throughout the year. Now, one more point. The Pesach, on the night of Pesach, we suspended his aninus status to allow him to eat the Korban Pesach, right? But once we allow him to eat the Korban Pesach, we open the door. Once you're eating this, you can eat any Korban. Just keep it straightforward and consistent. But Pesach, I did the Achal Pesach, since you can eat the Korban Pesach, Achal Nami Kachim, you can eat other Korbanos as well. As opposed to B'Shari B'Sashana throughout the year. To the Chazi. Since he's not able to eat Korbanos, because the Chachamim disallowed him, they gave him the Aninus status, the Chazi, so he's not able to do that. Umay Avaloi B'Kachim, now when the Mishnah there says you can eat the Pesach not B'Kachim, it means throughout the year, because again, Pesach at night, he could eat anything. That means Avaloi B'Kachim Shali Kol Hashana means Kachim throughout the year. Okay, so again we had a question. Here it says that the Oinen doesn't get a chelik, but tonight he can eat. And there it says he can't. The answer is Pesach, he has a green light, but not throughout the rest of the year, because it's Aninus Midrabban. Rabasi Omar. Here's another teretz. He says, Loikash, here's my answer. Kansha Meis Lemeis Barba Asar. V'Kavru Barba Asar. The Mishnah in Pesachim that doesn't allow the Oinen to eat the night after is speaking that it's the night following the relative's death. And he learns that although during the day is an Oinen Min Torah, and the following night is only the Rabbanon, so that disallows him from eating other Karbanos. But Korban Pesach he can eat because it's a Korban Pesach, right? Where the Achila is very, very critical, very integral part of the Hakrava. It's meant for Achila. Okay, so that's the Mishnah Pesach. So again, we're speaking Kansha Meis Lemeis Barba Asar. The Meis died today, Erev Pesach today. V'Kavru Barba Asar is buried today. And the night after is only Oinen Midrabbanon. So Pesach yes, other Korbanos not. Kan. Our Mishnah in Zevachim, which seems to give an Oinen the green light, full green light, during the night after, for any Korban that he wishes to eat. We're speaking about a different case. It's not the night following the death and burial. Kan Shemeis Lemeis B'Shleisha Asar. Let's say today is Erev Pesach, 14th day of Nisan, right? The Meis died yesterday on the 13th. And they buried him today, V'Kavru Barba Asar. So today, even today is not really Oinen Min HaTorah. The Oinen expired yesterday. Because Min HaTorah, the Oinen is only an Oinen on the day of Misa. Yom Kivura, all agree that Yom Kivura, the day of burial, will not expand and carry over and spill over to the following night, even Midrabbanon. Lo Yitafas Leila Midrabbanon doesn't carry on to the following night, even Midrabbanon. So he has a full green light to eat any Korban. It says Raman Tana Aninus Leila Midrabbanon. We're working with this premise that the Aninus status that applies to the night after, even the night after the Misa is only Midrabbanon. Whose opinion is that? Rab Shimoni. His opinion. The son of Aninus Leila Midrabbanon. Did Rabbi Yehuda? Rabbi Yehuda disagrees. He says the night after the Misa is Min HaTorah. Shimon Aimer, no, Oinen, the Torah, the Reserve is only Rabbanon. Teida, I'll prove it to you. From that Mishnah, Shariam, we learned Oinen, Toivel, V'Echles Pischal Erev, Avaloi B'Kachim. The night after, you can eat the Korban Pesach, but not the Karbanos. The only way to explain this passage, according to Reb Shimon, is that really it's only the Rabbanon, so we suspend it on account of Korban Pesach. Ask the Gemara, V'savar Reb Shimon in Islam the Rabbanon. Okay, so this is based on the premise that according to Rabbi Shimon, the aninus throughout the following night is only the Rabbanon. Really? V'savar Reb Shimon aninus leilam the Rabbanon? Is that what he holds? Vatani, we have a brayso which indicates otherwise. That according to Rabbi Shimon, if he's an Einin today, he cannot eat a Korban tonight, even a Korban Pesach. In fact, that explains why he can't even send this Korban Pesach to the Beis HaMikdash today. Presumably, because he will not be able to eat it tonight. How does that work with what we just said? It's only the Rabbanon. We suspend it for the sake of Pesach. V'atani, listen to this brayso. Reb Shimon Omer, Einin Einoi. One who is in a state of aninus, he may not send. He can't send in his Korban Pesach. Now it says Korban Pesach. We assume, my lab will assume, afilu a Pesach. It applies even to Korban Pesach. Loi levar Pesach. No, everything except for Korban Pesach, which of course he could do because, as we explained, since it's only the Rabbanon, it's okay. Vatanya. Now we have a contradiction from another brayso where Reb Shimon seems to say that even a Korban Pesach is off limits for an Einin. Vatanya Reb Shimon Eimer. So the pasuk says, zevach shlomim karbanai. Okay, if he's going to present a korban, shlomim, zevach, shlomim, karbanai, we analyze based on the word shlomim. Shlomim means whole, complete. He's fully there. He's fully engaged. He's in a wholesome, emotional state. Shlomim kushu shalom when he's in a proper emotional state. Maybe that type of person can bring a korban. Maybe. But he may not bring a korban when he's in distress. Kushu oinen when he's in oinen. Says the Gemara Menayin, L'Rabbi says HaToida. How do we know that this rule applies to Korban Toida as well? No, Ma'arbanis HaToida, we include the Toida as well. Shekei nechelas b'simcha k'shlamim, because just like a shlamim is meant to achieve simcha, right? That's the korban we eat on a Yom Tiv. It says v'zavachta shlamim v'chalta sham v'samach, that generates simcha. So in similar fashion, a Toida, which is a subset of a shlamim, right, a variation of shlamim, is also covered by the same rule. What about an oila? Can a person send in an oila when he's in einim? Now the Rabbi said oila. How do we know to include an oila as well? Marbein Sailum include the oila. Shekein ba b'nadav k'shlamim, because just like a shlamim which is donated, an oila also has that same characteristic. Now the rabbis. What about b'chor u'maser v'pesach? Oh, here's the critical point of the brayso. B'chor maser pesach cannot be offered by an einim. Yes, marbani, I will cover those as well. B'chor maser pesach shekein einan bonachet, because they have similarity to the shlamim, which is not coming to atone for a sin. Likewise, they. Then the rabbis chatas v'ashim as well. Zevach. The pasuk says v'im zevach shlamim. Zevach covers these as well. Then the rabbis ha'aviz v'amnachas v'yayin v'eitzim alavoyna. What about other types? Birds, menachas, wine, firewood, lavoyna. Can they be offered by an oinen? No. Tamalema shlamim karbanai. The extra word karbanai covers these as well. Karbanis, all karbanis that he chooses to present, maybe that he brings, are strictly for happy people. Maybe only when he's shalem, not when he's an einin, when he's experiencing mourning and distress. Maybe kshu einin. Okay, end quote. Pesach. The Brisa clearly relates to the Pesach as well. An einin cannot send in a korban Pesach. And earlier we said that he could. We have a steerer within Reb Shimon. The Pesach kedinaspe. Yeah, Pesach doesn't really belong on this list. It was just brought by the way of the other ones, but really, by a Pesach is totally different, as we explained. Rav Sheshes Amar has another answer. My Pesach, Shalmei Pesach. We don't mean literally a korban Pesach, because even an Einin can do that. Which Pesach can he not bring? Shalmei Pesach, the chagiga that's brought with the Pesach to get you full before you eat the korban Pesach. That's what he cannot, bring as an Einin. Yachi hainu shlamim. So that's just another way of saying shlamim. And shlamim is already mentioned in the beginning of the brayso. Why mention shlamim and then Pesach? Two variations of a shlamim. Tana shlamim habayim machmas Pesach, v'tana shlamim habayim machmas atzmon. Yeah, the brayso relates to two types of shlamims: the ones that come with the Pesach, the ones that come on their own. And you can't really compare and learn one from the other. Tana shlamim habayim Machmas, how about Machmas Pesach? Because if the Brisa only mentioned the separate shlamim, not the one that's packaged with the Pesach, I would think perhaps that's different. Perhaps I would think, Hoylo Machmas Pesach, also since they're coming on account of the Pesach, to enable the Pesach to be done properly, Kiguv the Pesach Domu, perhaps they're treated like the Pesach itself, which can be brought in this state, Kamashmon. That's why the Brisa points out, no, Pesach is one story, but the shlamim with the Pesach could not be sent as an Ein. Okay, so we had a seeming contradiction. Here we say, according to Reb Shimon, the night following the Aninus is only the Rabbanan, which allows for Pesach, and here we say you can't even set it in the Korban Pesach when you're in Einin. The answer is Pesach doesn't really belong on this list, or rather than speaking about the actual Pesach, we're really relating to the Shlamim with the Pesach. But the Pesach itself, you can send it in because of its high importance. You can even eat it as an Ein. Rav Mari Amar, here comes another teretz to this kasha. Like kasha. In one place, Rav Shimon seems to say that he cannot send in a Korban Pesach. And earlier we say that he could eat a Korban Pesach the night after the Aninus, because it's only the Rabbanan, right? Like kasha, the answer is like this. It depends when the Misa took place. Like kasha, kansha meisle meis be a dalit. Recover be a dalit. The case that Rav Shimon is speaking of, the one that you cannot send in Korban Pesach when he's an Ein, speaking when the mace died today. Today's Erev Pesach, you dalit, Benisan, and they buried him today. So according to this approach, the Einin status spills over into the following night. The night following the Misa is an Einin Minat Torah, which disallows even a Korban Pesach to be brought by him. And that's the last Brisa. Khan, earlier when Rav Shimon says that an Einin can eat a Korban Pesach, is speaking that the Misa occurred a day earlier. He died yesterday on the 13th. The died, and the Kfur was today. So today is only Einim in the Rabbanon because it's not the Yom Misa. So certainly the following night is only Einim in the Rabbanon, and we do that away on account of the Korban Pesach. And the Gemara explains now. Meisle may be a dal if the Misa happened today. V'kaver be dal and the Kvura today. That's a higher state of Aninus. It's an Einim Minat Torah, which covers even the following night. Yom Misa Teifis Leila Midaraisa, the day of death, carries over to the following night Minat Torah, no Pesach, as opposed to the Meisle Meisbi at Gimel. He died yesterday. V'kaver be dal and buried today. Yom Kvura is only with the Rabbanon. The status of Einim today is only with the Rabbanon. And that will not spill over to the following night. Only with the Rabbanon to the following night. So that's done away on account of the Korban Pesach. Rav Ashi challenged this teretz. He says, so are you telling me that even according to Reb Shimon, depends which night? The night after Misa is Minat Torah. The night after Kvura is Rabbanon. What about our earlier discussion between Reb Yehuda and Reb Shimon? How to treat the night after. Reb Shimon says it's only the Rabbanon. I'll prove it to you. Shari Amr, because we say Oinen Toivel Loichlas Pischal Erev. Available Kosher. The Oinen can eat the Korban Pesach the following night. Apparently, it's only the Rabbanon. And you say it's the Reiser of Yehuda. Name Malay. So according to your distinction, that even Rabbi Shimon agrees. Depends which night. The night following the Misa is Minat Torah. The night following the Kvur is only the Rabbanon. So the reference point, Shari Amru Oinen Toivel, that you can eat the Pesach, is speaking evidently about the night after the Kvura, not the night after the Misa. So how's that a challenge to Rabbi Yehuda? Rabbi Yehuda is speaking about the night after Misa. Name Alei. Rabbi Yehuda could have simply responded, Kamin Lachano, I'm speaking to you about Yom Misa the Reis of the Laila following Yom Misa, which is Minat Torah. And you're proving to me from the night after the Yom Kippur, which is only the Rabbanon. How do you compare kasha? In fact, this is a kasha that's not resolvable at this point. Okay, we'll continue with Hashem tomorrow. with further resolutions to this contradiction. In one place, Reb Shimon says, during the night after, the einin is free to eat the Pesach. On the other hand, he says he can't. How does this work? So we have several terutzim. Either we take away the Pesach from that list, or it's not talking about the Pesach, it's a shlama with the Pesach, but the Pesach itself is free to eat, or it depends what night. If it's the night of the Iraisa, then he can't. The night which is on the Rabban, then he could. In the beginning of today's daf, we addressed the halacha of the Mishnah, that only a kohen who is able to do the hakrava is entitled to a portion. He has to be tahor. He has to be a gadol. We do have a pasuk to include balmum, but as we conclude later, it's only if he's a balmum that's not tamei, because then he has an additional impediment, which is his tumah, and then he's disabled from getting a chelik. Okay, what's the halachic status of an einin vis-a-vis karbanis? Here it says you can touch, you can't be makar, but you can touch the carbon. There it seems to say that he needs tevilah. There's several explanations. Either we're speaking that he was toivel over here, or speaking that he was not Masiach Das, or the Gemara concludes an einin may interact with karbanis, just not eat. What about a einin eating during the following night, then after the aninus? Here we say that he could, and there it says that he can't. We had two answers on that. The night of Pesach he has a green light because of the carbon Pesach, but not so throughout the year. Rav Asi's teretz was, depends if it's the night after the Misa, which is Minat Torah, then he can't. Or the night after the Kfur, which is the Rabbanon, which he could. Who is the Shita that holds that the night after, even the night after the seemingly even after the Misa is only the Rabbanon, that's Reb Shimon, and Reb Shimon allows him to eat the carbon Pesach, and it's contradicted from the other brisa. He seems to say that he can't eat the carbon Pesach. We had several explanations, and we'll continue with Hashem on this tomorrow. All the best to you, and Hatzlacha.